Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to the Centurions Review, the punk rock band of wargame review institutions. This is Across Suez, the Battle of the Chinese Farm from October 15th. It occurred on October 15th, 1973, and it's from Decision Games. Looks like it was originally from SPI. So let's go over the victory conditions in this, because the victory conditions are unique. In order for the Israelis to win, they have to get a bridge in this location here, and once it gets in this location, it has to stay there. If it gets retreated out of there or destroyed at the end of the game, the Israelis cannot win. That's only part of the victory conditions. The other victory condition is once the bridge gets here, there's the bridge, it comes in on turn 3 down here and has to travel all the way up there without being destroyed. So when it gets here, the Israelis have to exit 6 of their units into this canal holding box over the bridge. They can exit units from that space without a bridge too, but when they do that, it costs 3 points. The problem with exiting units is obviously once you exit units, you don't have them as maneuvering units anymore and you're much weaker. The other part of the victory condition is they have to maintain a supply down to here, to this space at C here. If supply gets cut off to this space at the end of the game, the Israelis automatically lose. Let's go over reinforcements. On the first, or turn 2, the Israelis will get reinforcements coming in at C here. It will be 4 units. And then on that turn also at point A and point B, the Egyptians will get reinforcements. And then on the third turn, it'll just be the Israelis, and they'll come in at point C with the bridge. And then on the 5th turn, Israelis have 4 more units that come in at C, and the Egyptians have units that come in at D, which is right here. And usually at this point in the game, when those Egyptian units come in, the Israelis are heavily engaged over here. And it kind of leaves it wide open to the bridge for these units to get there, so the Israelis have to be careful to make sure that that reinforcement doesn't come in and destroy their bridge. Let me go over the basics of the rules now. Sequence of play is the Israeli movement phase, and then there's an Israeli combat phase, and the Israelis can use artillery during one attack during their turn, unless they get some units in the holding box, and for each unit they get in the holding box here, they get an additional artillery attack they can use to assist a regular attack. And then third phase is Egyptian movement, and then there's Egyptian combat and artillery if it's daytime. Artillery can only occur if it's daytime here, and if it's nighttime, there's no artillery and everyone moves 2 less. And the Egyptians, they can use their artillery on any unit that's adjacent to them. They just roll a dice, and if they roll a 1, that unit is destroyed. Combat is not compulsory on this if you're adjacent to a unit, except on the first turn it is compulsory. So just on the first turn you have to attack if you're adjacent to a unit. Let's see what else here. And there's combined arms combat, so if you have a tank along with any other type of infantry or non-tank unit, basically, like mechanized and so forth, then you get shift 1 column right on the combat arms table. Alright, we're going to do 1 turn here just to give you an idea of how the game plays, and then Len and I will do our review of it. So phase 1 is Israeli movement. The guy's going to move there. And he's going to move there. So if this one retreats, he'll retreat into a zone of control and be destroyed. Alright, down here. He's good where he is. This one's going to move up into here. There's ridge lines here, and they get negatives when they attack over the ridge lines. Let me go over the column shifts. There's 1 shift left when a defender is in elevated sand or a Bar-Lev fort hex, which would be like something like that. That's a Bar-Lev fort. 2 columns left if you're in elevated sand behind the ridge hex side or in the Chinese farm. The Chinese farm is here. Funny thing about that is actually not a Chinese farm. When the Israelis first went there, they saw the writing on the wall there and they thought it was Chinese. I believe it was actually Japanese writing, but they didn't know that. And you get one column right if attacking force employs both armor and infantry or mech units, like I mentioned. And one column right if the attackers are Israelis and supported by artillery. All right, let's see if there's any other movement I want to do here. He'll move there, I guess. All right, so attacking is compulsory, so 3 to 3, so that becomes 0. On the combat results table, he has to attack there. If it wasn't compulsory on the first turn, I wouldn't. So 0 is 4, so attacker retreats. So he'll just go to that space. Over here, he's just on open terrain. So 3, 6, 10 to 3, so that's a +7. But it's combined arms, so it becomes a +9. And they get a 4, which is defender retreats, but he can wherever he can retreat is in a zone of control, so he's eliminated. And they can move a unit into the vacated hex if they wish, and they're gonna. All right, and down here, this is compulsory. That's at 0. Yeah, because it's open terrain. So that one, they're actually going to use their artillery on it. So 0, it'll move it to the +2, +3 table. So that's equal elimination, so they're both destroyed. And down here at the Chinese farm, maybe I should have moved that one out of there. That's going to be pretty bad. So that's starts at a 1, and he's in the Chinese farm. So it goes to the -3 table. So he's probably going to be eliminated. I should have moved him out of there. That's attacker eliminated. Then we have another one here that's at 0. 0 at 3 is defender retreat, so he just retreats 1 away. Now it's the Egyptian turn, and like I mentioned, they have 2 artillery attacks they can do. So after they do movement, they can use their artillery on 2 units that are adjacent to them. So that's going to move there. It's going to move there. This. Now if he retreats, he'll be destroyed. Down here, this guy's going to try and break the line of communication to that hex. One, two, three, four. They got plenty of movement here. I think that's what they'll do. So they'll use 1 artillery attack here. If they roll a 1, he's destroyed. No. And 1 here. If they roll a 1, he's destroyed. Yeah, they rolled a 1, so he's destroyed. Alright, so over here they'll do their regular combat. So that's 6 minus 3 is 3. And they get a 3, so it's defender retreats. That's the basics of the mechanics, how the game works. We'll go to our review portion now. Hey guys, Dave and Len here. We just played Across Suez, the Battle of the Chinese Farm from October 15th, 1973. That's less than 2 weeks after I was born. So what'd you think of it, Len?
Actually, it's surprising. It's easy to play, easy to learn. It's a back and forth game that you, if you make one mistake, you will lose. And it's a very tough one because on both 2 games we played, which only took us about a half hour to play.
Yeah, each one was about a half hour.
The Israeli made only one mistake in the entire game, and they lost it because of that. It's just you have to place your units exactly right, or you got problems.
Yeah, what I like about this game is I like Israeli games, or games about Israel's wars, I mean. But the problem is, even though most of them are good, is the Israelis usually win, or in some of these games they always win. In this game, the Egyptians usually win, which is kind of refreshing. The Israelis, they have a tricky victory conditions. They have to maintain a route of supply to a space in the south hex of the board. In addition to that, they have to exit 6 of their units, and usually they'll use the bridge to do that. But if the bridge is destroyed after it's positioned, or if it's forced to move after it's positioned, like with a retreat, the Israelis cannot win at the end of the game. So the victory conditions are why the Egyptians usually win. So it's really tricky for the Israeli, but it still is a lot of fun to play, though. And I mean, I paid like practically nothing for this game. I think I paid $15 for this with free shipping when I got it years back. I made my own scenario for it too. It includes some Russian and American counters. So I made a scenario for like Russian and American intervention in the Sinai. But overall, I really like the game. You like it too, right?
I like it too, yeah.
Yeah, not bad it's a box game, but I consider it a micro game because it's about the size. I mean, it plays kind of like a micro game. It's got real simple rules and stuff. But yeah, good game. If you can find one for like $10, $15, pick it up. I think you'll enjoy it. Have a good evening.
Okay.